Hello, I'm Dr. Gareth Moore and welcome to my day 10 solve of this, the Exit the Game Advent Calendar, the Intergalactic Race. We shall start, as I often do now, by looking at the storybook, because after all that's where each day starts. Oh my goodness, that was close! People may have different opinions of Claus's suitability for this race, but he can certainly fly. You have to give him that. The way he navigated through the meteoroid shower was absolutely first class. Claus seems to be of this opinion himself. Now I deserve a break, he decides. I need a coffee and a Uranus Rex bar. I want to land first, otherwise I'll get it all over myself like I did with the potato salad. That didn't bother you much with the last 3 Rex bars, you think to yourself. However, you have no objection to a break after this breakneck adventure. Claus heads to the nearest planet. The side window gives you a view of a huge chrome-plated ball. You narrow your eyes in confusion and then open them wide. You've never seen anything like it. The entire planet is mirrored. Everything is reflected here. As soon as you land, you immediately want to take a closer look, but Claus stops you. Hey, be careful, I've never been here before. People aren't always friendly towards strangers, so before you get out, take this mirror. This will allow you to examine the planet without having to step outside. Just carefully stick your hand through the door. You never know if there's a nasty surprise hiding in a hard-to-see corner. That sort of thing is not unheard of in the depths of space. Now open door 10, behind which you'll find one riddle card, J1, and one strange item, mirror. Alright, let's see if there's anything on the back of this page. It doesn't mention it, so perhaps there isn't. And yeah, absolutely nothing. Well, there we go. Alright, so our door for today is door 10. So let's have a closer look at that and open it. Alright. Wait, what does it say about taking a mirror before you did something? I think I've done the correct thing opening this door, right? And where's the mirror? Oh, there is a mirror in there. I can feel it. It's down the bottom here. There we go. Alright, so this says view around, but it is quite clear that the V, I-E, W, A-R-O-U-N-D are aligned with the columns and the rows of this. And it's styled a bit like a radar. And inside the room there are what look like branches. I'll show you in a moment. But if we were to reflect them, that's literally just going to reflect them. I had an idea that perhaps the room was going to be almost dark and there was a tiny gap and you had to reflect. I don't know, it was a bit fanciful, but looking at it by reflecting things somehow. That is obviously not the case. So I don't quite understand. Let me just read again the prompt. What was this about? The bold bit is, so before you get out, take this mirror. This will allow you to examine the planet without having to step outside. Just carefully stick your hand through the door. You never know if there's a nasty surprise hiding in a hard-to-see corner. So certainly you would imagine there's something in the corners of the room. A reminder that each day, as always, we are looking for a 3-digit code put into our decoder strip which will tell us where on the calendar our next otherwise unlabelled door is. But let's have a look inside the room. Well, it's certainly like a fragmented landscape of crystalline trees and spires, but I don't immediately see how these are going to give us puzzle numbers. Reflecting it, what is reflecting this with a mirror going to do? I mean, if I put a mirror in here, I'll just stick it in the room, it doesn't do anything magical, just can see the other side, and it's because it's a piece of cardboard with a foil on it, it's not particularly clear. So what is the purpose of the mirror? Is it just to let us know we're reflecting things, or are we actually using it to see something we wouldn't otherwise see? Yeah, no, the calendar is physically possible to deform, but I don't think we're doing that. I don't see anything here. I don't think we're like poking out here and seeing into the next room. I think that really is just the next room. So what is going on? This is the second time this year I'm going to say, I don't actually have a clue what to do. As I said in the previous video, often I have an idea what to do, I just don't know if it's right or not, but this time I don't have an opinion at all. So am I reflecting on this card? Perhaps I'm trying to place the mirror at certain angles on here to create something that is seen on the calendar, and then perhaps I'm connecting letters. But if I connect letters and then spell something out, there's a very limited range of numbers I can spell by doing that. I mean, are there any numbers you can spell by using the letters on here? You can spell 1, you can spell 9, yeah, and that's really it. So I can spell 1 and 9. I suspect that's not the answer to my code. Well, I love a good mystery, and I have to be honest, this is a mystery. I hope it's a good one. Based on it being an exit calendar, I expect it will be, but right now I am bemused. What on earth is going on? Well, it says view around, so I will have a look around the calendar in case there's something that appears to match with today's appearance. Do any of these planetoids match? None of these are going to look like this card, even if I reflect anything. And also I think the design on here is not so striking in terms of zigzag lines or something, that reflecting is going to have much effect. What about the underneath? They have been known to hide things cunningly on the underneath. There's an owl for a start. A rocket. And this is day one. I don't know what these pegs are for. There's a stopwatch with an arrow on it, which is sort of in this vaguely similar colour tones to this, but it's not so similar in design that I think they're connected. What is going on? What is going on? And what's the purpose of this picture? This is on the back of the mirror, so we know we're not directly reflecting this. They look a bit like Tetris pieces. Well, those three do. That certainly doesn't. Mirror. Card. View. Around. And the other clue we have is in bold. Before you get out, take this mirror. The entire planet is mirrored. Everything's reflected. What confuses me is that I've got this card that says view around. Otherwise, I'd think, well, in the room, that some of those structures must be numbers that are reflected. And I need to just like notice that it's, you know, it's a elaborate 4 that's written backwards or something like that. But then in which case, what's the purpose of this? Hard to believe I would get numbers from this unless I ended up tracing edges. And I don't see honestly how I'm going to trace edges. Now, of course, each square is identified by an intersection of 2 letters. So, for example, this square here might be IN. So you can spell the word in, but I don't actually think I'm likely to be taking anything from here. But I can't spell, for example, the word everything. I mean, I got E-V-E-R, there's no Y. And what would I do with that? Take this mirror, you can examine the planet without stepping outside. Carefully stick your hand through the door. That could just be narrative. Is there a nasty surprise in a hard to see corner? Well, perhaps we really are prodding the mirror into the corners of that room to see something in the next room. But what's this for? Maybe it will become clear. I think I have to have a look in that room again, because I honestly don't know where else to start making progress on this puzzle. So, well, let's start by looking straight down, because it happens to be right under my camera. Are there hidden numbers there? I mean, potentially, or some way of cross-referencing letters. Is that a T? And if I reflect it, perhaps if I reflect halfway up or something, I will get something formed. Or that could be, for example, sideways on. That could be an A, but there's no reason for me to put the mirror at that position. If I were to put it here, for example, I would form a different shape. And if I'm forming digits with a mirror, it has to always be a 1, which is pretty hard to make clear. It has to always be an 8 or 0, really, because a 1 is not really going to work. Well, I'm going to try sticking a mirror in places in here and see if some sort of magical thing happens. I stick it in this corner, what do I see? One thing I could possibly do is combine some of the sides with the middle by putting it here to see the near side. That doesn't seem to help. What about if I put this at an angle like that? What happens if I reflect the whole room? The mirror does fit nicely against the wall, but nothing magical happens when I put it there. It's not like a shape or number appears suddenly. What about on the roof here? There's some cracks. Maybe it's these narrow bits here that are going to look like something. But I mean, I don't immediately see that happening. And there are no high up bits there. But are these floating fragments? My concern over what I'm trying now, I don't know how to make those floating fragments really reflect anyway, is that you'd think there'd be somewhere specific to lay the mirror. I mean, for example, that line across the bottom there. What happens if I put the mirror across that? I can't say there's been any like massive revelation from doing that. I don't think that lying the mirror on these is having any effect. Oh, what's that I can see there? Oh, that's the back of here. Is that a more back of the room I can see somewhere? Not there. My mirror's getting a bit worse for wear. What about under here? Is there something hidden on the back of the door frame? Not that I can see. What's that white thing? Oh, what's this? Hang on. Wait. I think there's writing up there. See if we can actually make it readable. All right, so I think that's W/O, W/A, and E/O. Or maybe it's W/D. W/A, W/O. Yeah, there's one way to know. I have to just bend the box up a bit, I think. I still can't read that. What does it say? I'll just tear it a lot. The leftmost one is OW, I think. AWOE. OW, which is 1, I think. Which was 1? Hang on. No, wait, I think it's actually DW. DW is first. So let's get rid of that. Well, first from left to right, we have DW, which is here. Can you see that just about? AW, which is here. And then EO, which is here, 3. And it does occur to me, does this correspond with a view of the Advent calendar? Am I looking at the entirety of the calendar? Let's get rid of this mirror, let's turn it over to that side. Because if so, I've got 1 over here, which is 5. If this corresponds with the doors I've labelled, then this is definitely correct. 1 is 5, 2 is 8, and 3 is 2. Okay, so that bit of the puzzle I did relatively straightforwardly. So, okay, we've got it. So 1 is, assuming I have this in the right order, it's 5, 8, 2. That is our code for today. Let's have a look. 5, 8, 2. Yeah, and then this takes us from the door today, which is this damaged door here, right one, and down one. So this should be, if it matches our door for today, hexagon Y star. And it is. So there we go, we've solved the door for today, and we can write 11 on it. Well, there we go. My goodness, I have to say, I think the average difficulty of the puzzles on this calendar is trickier than in previous years, and I'm not saying that as a complaint necessarily at all. I think that puzzle was actually perfectly fair. Give you a mirror, hint that you're going to look in the room. I think that took corner to mean the corners of the cubic space, but it doesn't really mean corner in that sense. It means intersection of 2 edges, which I wouldn't call a corner. I would say saying that was hidden in the corner was actually confusing. I'd say it was hidden against the edge. I found a couple of times, I think, that the clues are unnecessarily incorrect. Maybe I'm just making excuses for myself, being unable to immediately solve the puzzles. Who knows? I'd love to know, therefore, how you got on and what you thought about this day. If you've solved it yourself or just been watching, do please feel free to comment down below. I love reading your comments. And even if I don't always have time to reply to all of them, I do read them all and I really appreciate it, so thank you. And if you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy my other Advent calendar videos or have some interest in my puzzle and brain training books. But otherwise, until I see you in the future or one of those other videos, all that remains is for me to say take care and goodbye. Oh, and thank you for watching.